Hey Steve, and when I say Steve, I'm talking to both Chad and Tim, both you guys. It's just an easier way to just say Chad and Tim all the time, or Joey, whatever. As an introduction, I'm Joey. Tim, I'm just following up on your video that you posted yesterday, which was awesome. And the page is awesome that you set up. I love the picture. I know that's your Photoshop work, and you took pretty good. You got pretty good pictures of all of us. I like how it's set up. Everything so far is pretty awesome with the page. Everything. Only thing I did today was maybe subscribe our own page to our individual pages, but I saw you already had them on the main page, like referenced or whatever. Anyway, without further ado, I'm recording this with my Canon Rebel. I'm not sure if it's going to work out. I usually record everything with my phone, but I was hoping maybe I could set this up on my tripod so it wouldn't be any all shaky and everything like my phone videos are. Hopefully the sound quality is just as good. Chad, I hope you are able to record your videos with better sound quality than most of your videos you post on your page. The sound quality is terrible. So hopefully we all get better at this as we go along. Alright, a few things. Oh, and Tim, your quality of your camera is awesome. I mean, you recorded the first video in 3D. That was pretty amazing. I hope this records in HD or something so I can like be somewhat comparable. Anyway, I'm going to try to get through this without too many uhs or anything. I wrote down a few things I want to talk about. I know, seems like a lot, but I've already gotten through like half of this already. So here we go. Yeah, I had this idea for quite a while. I didn't talk to you guys about it just because I really didn't know how I was going to go over, especially since we had the whole Xbox fallout, and that's my fault. But, and mainly it's, you know, I have stuff I like with the family and everything now. It's hard to get on there and do everything. Plus I really get addicted to video games. Whatever. I'm not going to go into all that because this is about fun, and that's why I wanted to do this. It's a way for us to keep in contact, and I agree with you 100%, Tim. I don't care who watches. This is about fun for us. I've gotten this idea. I want to say I got it from Vlogbrothers, but I think I actually had some similar idea like before that. But they're pretty awesome YouTube channel. Chad, if you haven't seen that, I think Tim's the one that turned me on to it because I follow the videos that Tim favorites all the time. Alright, I'm ranting. Okay, and I think we should try to post at least a video a week, like between each of us. So, I mean, right now I'm pretty excited about this, so I might post more than that. But if I don't, in the future I want us to at least try to get one out a week. I mean, I understand we get busy and everything, so maybe we can't, but that's what we'll shoot for. Alright. Tim, I'm going to answer your questions. Your first question, I think you just meant to ask one question, but you kind of asked 3 different questions, so I'm just going to answer them all, alright? And I'll pose the same questions to you, Steve. Alright, first question was, how do you want to be identified? How do I want to be identified? Well, I think I want to be identified, I'm not sure how to answer it really, but I don't know, as Joey, and well, I really don't know how to answer that. I'm Joey, and I guess that's just, I won't go into full detail about like life and like how everything, I don't know. I just cut it off at Joey. I mean, if you want to go in further detail with questions, I'll take them and answer them then. Your next question that you had was, what have I been up to lately? Well, lately I've been studying for the bar again. That I'm taking in 2 weeks, the last week in July. It's the last Tuesday and Thursday in July every year. And, well, it sucks, but I've been doing a lot of that. And, well, doing a lot of fatherly things, you know, with Liam and everything. And because Molly's working and I'm pretty much staying at home dad, which is awesome. I really didn't think it'd be a cool role, but it is pretty awesome to get to spend a lot of time with him, because I know when I get back in the Marines, I'm not going to have this time, so it's really good to get it now. Also, your last question, how do I define what I do these days? Mostly I define it as procrastination, which is really what I've done all my life, is procrastinate. I know you know a little bit about that, Tim, but that's basically, I guess, how I would define it. Anyway, alright, now I'll pose those questions to you, Steve. Both of you and Chad will have to answer those questions. How do you want to be identified? What have you been up to lately, and how do you define what you've been up to these days? which last two are really kind of the same question. I don't know. I just wrote down the questions you had, Tim, and tried to answer them. This is going terribly. I hope it seems a lot better when I watch it. All right. Two more questions I want to add to that, though, because I've been thinking about them for a while. Well, one was because you favorited a video recently where this guy made a video of himself when he was 12 years old, talking to himself when he was like in his 30s or something, and it was pretty cool to see this guy edit the video as him talking to his 12-year-old self. So what I thought would be the good first question is, where do you think, like, when you were 12 years old, do you think, or could you even imagined that you are where you are now? And if not, where did you want to be? Like, when you were 12, you know, the age-old question, what did you want to be when you grew up? Well, what was that when you were 12 years old? For me, I'll just go ahead and answer this now so that way you guys don't have to ask me questions again. For me, that was about 6th grade, I think. I had no idea. I never actually could answer that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I really could never answer that question. I didn't figure that out until like 2 years after high school. Then, I can tell you what I knew I didn't want. I knew I didn't want to be married, and I didn't want to have a kid at 12. And I have both of those now. And I'm really happy that I do, but it just shows the show at 12 years old, you really don't know what you want anyway. Okay. Okay. Second question is actually pretty cool. Do you remember when we met, Steve? And, or what is your earliest memory that you have of us together? Chad, I would have to say I remember that we met in 2nd grade, I think, and I think the earliest memory I have, so I remember like we sat beside each other in 2nd grade. I think that's right. I mean, if I'm wrong when I recall stuff like this, let me know, or let me know what your point of view is. I think that'll be interesting. Like, we have completely different stories. Because sometimes we do that. We talk about the old days and we have totally different recollection. Anyway, my earliest memory, Chad, was you were a Velociraptor for Halloween because Jurassic Park came out that year. You were Velociraptor and I was Grant. To be Grant, I basically had a blue button-up shirt and a white hat. And that was Grant for me, which was like a low-budget costume. But Chad, you were like full-on like Velociraptor costume. Your mom made awesome costumes. And I remember I was Grant and you were Velociraptor, and we walked around that loop around the elementary school like we always did for every Halloween. They had the costume parade for elementary kids. And I was holding your Velociraptor tail the whole way, so it didn't drag along the road. And then it's funny because a few years later you were an alien from Independence Day and I was doing the same thing, carrying your tentacles as we went around. I don't remember what I was that time, but it's probably Indiana Jones or something. I was Indiana Jones quite a few times. And then like when my mom made us Jedi robes, I was a Jedi for Halloween. I'm still a Jedi for Halloween if I dress up. Anyway, Tim, I think we met in 7th or 8th grade. I'm pretty sure it was like 8th grade, but it was like the beginning of 8th grade. I'm not sure if it was 7th grade too. I want to say I felt like I knew you longer than that. Earliest memory I have of you and I together was probably, well, you and I, Chad, we all used to have lunch together, and those times were amazing. But from just me and you, I would say I remember riding my bike down to your house and watching you play Final Fantasy. Specifically, I remember watching you finish Sephiroth. I think that's his name. If I got that right, I'm pretty good because I have not seen or talked about that game since I've seen you. And you defeated Sephiroth at the end with Cloud, I think it's the main character's name. And I just remember you did this like move where these knights, I think it was like a Knights of the Round Table move or something, and they came down on Sephiroth and just like messed him up. It was awesome looking. But yeah, I really wasn't, like, I didn't have, I maybe had N64 at the time and you were playing PlayStation, so I couldn't play that game anyway, so it was cool to see you play it. And I remember the best part actually was we were eating peanut butter cookies that your neighbor made, and man do I miss those cookies, because I remember we used to have those all the time down at your house. And sometimes when I came up to visit while I was in the Marine Corps, you'd give me, like, your mom would give me a bag of them to take back to base with me, and I loved it. I miss those cookies, and I'm sure you don't have them anymore, but if you do, next time I'm up, I gotta get some of those. But those were awesome. But we would sit down there and eat those cookies and drink milk, and like you would heat up the cookies on the plate too. That was the best part, heating up the cookies for a little bit. And it was amazing. I remember your dog Bud, but yeah. So Steve, both Tim and Chad, you got to answer those 2 questions as well. So basically, how do you identify yourself? What have you been up to? What would your 12-year-old self thought you would have been, you know, basically. And that last one, do you remember when we met? And what's your earliest memory of us? I think will be interesting to hear your responses. So I hope this wasn't retarded of a video, and I know it's kind of going on long, but I'll try to prepare and try to, I don't know, make it look like I'm semi-educated. And yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later.